Alright, so today is February 9th. It's Greg's coaching session. It is Monday at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to take a first screenshot here and we'll get started. And by the way, at this period, usually less and less people come to the coaching sessions, just because they got projects going on, they've got a lot of their questions answered. So for those of you who's still coming, just take that time to ask your question so you can get more in-depth answers and, you know, just take advantage of it. Alright, from Ryan. I don't even know if there's many benefits anymore, Ryan, because even it used to be like I would notice I wouldn't get cashed for anything, but now I'm even noticing getting cashed in like incognito mode. Um, I don't think there's really too many differences. As far as true local results, it doesn't necessarily mean that. 'Cause, you could be cashed for that as well. Usually a 7 pack I notice is the true results, but sometimes the organic results can be kind of mixed up depending on what you visited and stuff. All right, from Ryan about the Tumblr tag trick shown by Jimmy. They mentioned this could get your site penalized by hitting one keyword too hard. What are your chances of that? Do you think? I mean, it depends on the site, but it could definitely penalize your site if you have too much anchor text going to your site. The main point of that I would say is not necessarily the linking power, but more the traffic power. When you naturally get traffic to your website, it's going to increase your rankings. Like if you did a commercial or something for your website, and your website was on like page 3 for something. If you got like a whole bunch of traffic from that commercial you did or something like that, it would move your website up to like page 2 or 1 just from that traffic coming in. So, that depends on competition and all that, but the point is traffic will boost up your website a good bit in some cases. It depends on the competition and the establishment of your site, how old it is, and all that stuff as well. But that the traffic that you get from that is what is doing a lot for you. Of course, link juice too, but from Andreas, I have an EMD domain. I wonder what proper title for the homepage you should use for that domain. For example, curetinnitus.com. What is a safe title for the homepage if you want to target the keywords in the domain name? Well, again, I have a video coming on EMDs very soon. What I like to do with my EMDs is when I first do the title, I will do something with the domain name in it. So if it's like Nashville SEO, I'll be like something like advance your business with Nashville SEO. So I'll have the keyword in there, but if it's a brand new site, when I first started, I won't put it in the beginning, just to be like you'll probably be fine with that. But I just do that to be extra safe because when you have a brand new site, it's not going to rank right away anyways. So title's something you can easily change. So I'll usually just put it on the end of the domain, or set up, like Advance Your Business Online, like a separator, Nashville SEO, or even NashvilleSEO.org. Usually I'll do the keyword Nashville SEO. And then later on, when the site builds trust, I'll usually switch it around. I'll put the keyword first, like Nashville SEO, separator, Advance Your Business Online. But in that EMD video, I'm going to be showing you, basically how to manipulate Google into thinking your EMD is a brand, and they will rank you #1 for the EMD keyword and variations. Good, you guys are coming with questions today. That's good. Usually questions start dying off this far in, so I'm happy to see that. All right, from Josh, what kind of work do you outsource? I do like a lot of like posting of stuff I'll outsource and content. Like I have someone who I have actually I'll say like I need articles on this ordered and then can you put them up here? And then when they're done posting everything, I'll go and check the titles and the keyword density and all that just to do a double check. But I usually have someone who builds all my sites for me, does all the content, and then I always pretty much do my own linking. If I have someone else do my linking, it's only one person, and I tell them exactly what anchor text I want and all that type of stuff. But usually I even do my own linking. So I mean, most of the outsourced work I do is like website design, articles, putting the site up, stuff like that. From Steven, with the money site network for each category. Hold on. I don't know if you missed something there, Steven. All I got is within the money site network for each category, i.e. plumbers, HVAC, etc. Unless this one was first. If I were to use the same setup of hosting companies for each category, should this be avoided as well? Re-ask that, Steven. I think you might have missed something in there, or something might not have typed for you. All right, from Mike. Looking to use DAS to help rank a local lead gen site. Have a few PBNs I was going to use as well. How many DAS tier 1, 2 setups are safe to set up at a time to see effect? Delicious, Tumblr types, etc. Have a few PBNs for second round if needed. I mean, really as many as you want, Mike. Yeah, that's probably a better question for Jimmy, but I mean, the way I look at it is you can set up as many as you want. And it's just the time of setting them up, that's all. From Joanne. That's being recorded. I got my record thing right here. I record with Camtasia, Joanne. I don't record with the GoToWebinar. Alright, from Ada. A question on Google Verified. Some businesses have a green bar next to the name stating verified. But I find some businesses that are ranking on first page, their Google Plus listing does not reflect verified in a green bar. So I guess my question is, do you know if I must state verified to actually be verified? Yes, if you go to the Network Empire training section, they have a video on how to get verified. I was just actually getting ready to look at it yesterday, then I got caught up in something else, but I know it's in there. Let me actually go and show you, since we got a lot more time now on these webinars. Alright, so I'm in Breakthrough. Go to the Network Empire main page. Oh, come on. Nope, wasn't in there. Let me move my bar. Could have swore it was in there. I just saw it yesterday. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Let me look for it in a little bit if we get through these questions, Ada. But I know it's in there. There's a video specifically on getting Google verified. Alright, from Arthur. I have a VA doing some citations for New City SEO site. He told me he was skipping citation sites that had a low DA. Does that make any sense? Do citation sites have more power when they have higher DA? That you should skip those under 15 or 20. Typically, yeah, he's right, Arthur, unless it's like highly relevant, like locally. Like if you're doing like Dallas plumbers and there's like a like a Dallas plumbing directory or something like that. In that case, I would do those. But typically, yeah, I would probably avoid those lower DA citation sites again, unless they're highly relevant. From Reginald, I just purchased an expired domain, and when I add it to SERPs to track website uptime, it gives me a message that it has a permanent 301 redirect, and I have done nothing yet. How do I fix this? I mean, if you own the domain, you control the 301. Yeah, you meant 301. Yeah, if you control the website, Reginald, you control the 301. So, I mean, just look in your domain options. It shouldn't be automatically 301ing when it was transferred to you. But just make sure there's no URL forwarding set up or anything like that. I mean, as long as you can get to your site, then it's not 301. So. Alright, from Joanne. I have a site stuck on page 3 since December. I've tried Tumblr PBNs. We also dropped from 7pack at the same time, so I have sent PBNs to the citations and no movement. This is an age domain. I have checked all the backlinks to get rid of the dodgy ones. It could be over optimization, Joanne. And make sure you're check your keyword density against like the top people on the first page. See if there's any difference. Again, I don't know what your URL structure is and your anchor text, so it could be anything to do with that. I would have to see deeper into that one. Alright, from David. Any problem or success with .us or .info domains ranking for keywords? David, I mean, I don't personally really mess with them too much. I kind of go by what's ranking. What do you see in the search results the most? And that's .com, .net, .org. So, I mean, I know for sure that those domains are going to rank well, so I stick with those. I know there's people who have had success with US and an info, but personally, I like to stick with the big three. Alright, from Steven, I watched your video on hosting and the move away from SEO hosting as the sole source. Is it necessary to use multiple hosting for sites within the same money site network? Or is it also a good idea to vary the hosting across multiple money site networks? Okay, I guess you're re-asking your question there. Alright, so first question is it necessary to use multiple hosting for sites within the same money site network? It depends how you're going to be linking to them, Steven. I mean, if you're going to be sending PBNs to the site, which we're also kind of moving away from more, then in that case you'd want to definitely be careful. Because if you have a PBN linking to two different sites on the same IP, that can definitely be fishy. But I mean, even at the same time, even without all of that, I personally like to have my money sites at least on different IPs just to get that extra layer of safety. I mean, if it's a money site, it's got to be fairly important. So I mean, it's got to be worth just an extra few bucks a month. You know what I mean? So I mean, me personally, just to take out any risk there or any additional stuff I got to worry about, I'll usually put them on different IPs at least. And then the second one, is it also a good idea to vary the hosting across multiple money site networks? I mean, I do, Steven. I'll put some on HostGator. Sorry, alarm was going off my house. I was wondering what it was. Or is it also a good idea to vary? Sorry, I was distracted. Yeah, I'll use HostGator, Host9. We use Traffic Planet, Liquid Web. I've used those four for money sites. Probably other ones too. But yeah, I mean, I try to vary it as much as I can, Steven. From Jay, in February 2nd office hours, you mentioned info on using fake information when registering domains was in the supremacy section. Do you know which video it was discussed in? I don't. Someone mentioned the video it was in that, I think in that office hours. I thought I repeated it, but maybe not. It was a video by someone. David Mills might know where it is. You can always ask David where something is located because he puts all the videos up. And that's David at omgmachines.com. Or even better, you can ask in the Facebook group. I'm sure someone will tell you that might have been where I seen it, was in the Facebook group. I think someone asked in there and it was answered. From Mike, have an old PBN that I'm converting to a lead gen site as I no longer need the outbound links from it. It ranks for some long tails in local now. Just rethemed and added better content for a few inner pages. Want to use vSilo to build out inner local keyword silos. Is velocity of page build out something I need to watch out for? Versus a quick build out of a brand new domain with vSilo. Nah, I wouldn't worry about the velocity to build out, Mike. I wouldn't worry about that at all. From Joanne, when should a person use the free Silo plugin versus vSilo plugin? That's probably a good question for Network Empire, Joanne, because those are their plugins. You know, I just use I use their Silo. I don't even know which one it's called because I have someone else build my sites for me. But I mean, I just use their Silo plugin when I want to do a Silo site. I'm not sure exactly which one that is. From Steven, please explain why likes and shares amongst Web 2.0 properties do not seem important to ranking when DA stacking. Please explain. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they're not important, Steven. I mean, I think they can add a little bit in for you. I'm not sure where you heard they weren't important. I wouldn't necessarily say they weren't important. From Slav, can you please explain this message from David? Generic sites for local aren't really working well anymore, like how we used to throw up generic content on SEO for a Nashville SEO site, rank it, and change content. Not working very well anymore. Almost like Google is looking for certain things in that aspect, possibly looking for stuff like our company, services, etc. Or like they can tell when something is written first person or third person, or if it's third person for a local site, it's going to be trouble ranking. What I meant by that, Slav, is you got to sound like you're a real business. So, you know, like we used to throw up sites kind of like generically, and on that site, like for the homepage, we would just have like a general article on SEO. Like SEO is the practice of getting your website higher in the search engines. You know, if you are looking to get higher ranking in the search engines and increase your business, then there are plenty of search engine optimization companies out there that can help you, blah blah blah. So that's more third person, whereas if if you're a real business, you're writing as first person. You're saying, you know, we is a big word, our company, our services, rather than like, companies out there will help you, or there's a difference between writing third person and writing first person. And it just seems now with local, when you're writing in third person, you're not saying stuff like we, our company, our services, stuff like that. It really makes it a lot harder to rank. Okay, Celine says, I think Russell talks about having a site verified in his intro setup profile video. I don't know which one that is. I'm wondering if maybe this was in Director's Cut I saw this. But I know you guys get Director's Cut too, so let's see. Yes, here it is. So it's in the cut section, Director's Cut, which I think you guys get too, if you're Project Breakthrough. And it's right here, Google Verified Publisher. And they're step-by-step on that. And I almost watched this, and here's actually the steps right here. This will be showing the replay. I won't put this up too much, or too long, just to get the questions. So step 1, make sure you have installed your WordPress blog or built an HTML website. Make sure you have a G+ biz page set up. Here's the page for that. Make sure you submit your site to Google Webmaster Tools. Make sure you upload the Google Webmaster Tools file to your blog's root directory. Make sure you place the link on your website. And so you can do that with a plugin, widget, or a snippet of code. Check the G+ biz page to make sure it comes up as checked. And then check Rich Snippets tool to make sure you come up as a verified publisher. From Tony, when do you use proxies? I mean, I only use proxies usually like when I'm running a tool, like for example, Scrapebox I'll use to mass check sites for indexing or anything like that. I mean, any type of tools, like GSA, stuff like that, you're going to be using proxies. Other than that, I don't really mess with them too much. From Chris, I ordered a 5-pack of PBNs from Gregory Ortiz last week. When they are delivered, what should be the first step? And should I just post to Web 2.0 and social links for a while before doing direct links to my client sites with the keyword phrase I'm trying to rank for? Well, Chris, make sure you check out the recent video I did. It's in the update section, in the news section, talking about PBNs and just my warning on sending them to a money site. But I mean, your first step, I don't know what you ordered from him, because some of them he'll set up the whole thing for you, like on hosting and all that. So obviously, if they're not on hosting, just put them on hosting. And then, I mean, it's just make posts and point them to what you're trying to rank. And yeah, Web 2.0 and social is a great place to start. From Ryan, I picked up a PBN that had strong links to it following your method. It turns out the site was registered at a Japanese registry, even though the content was all in English for the most part. Does this have any effect on the trust of the site, using it to rank local businesses near Philly? No, that's more comes down to the I would say the hosting, Ryan. But if you're paranoid about that, you can always move it. You could transfer it from the Japanese registry to GoDaddy or Namecheap or something like that. But I don't think that would affect, as long as the hosting is not in Japan. I wouldn't want the hosting to be in Japan necessarily, but as long as the hosting is like around where you're trying to rank, United States, then you should be fine. From Dustin, what is the best way to implement pointing PBNs to social properties in Web 2.0 in order to build a money site ranking up? For instance, is it better to link to your Facebook biz page or to link to a specific URL for a specific post that points to your money page? No, it's better to point to your Facebook biz page, Dustin. Same thing with Twitter. Is it better to link to your Twitter profile or to link to a specific URL? And again, Twitter profile is usually what I do. And actually, the over-the-shoulder series that we're doing now, I sent the videos over to David. As soon as he puts them up, I actually am doing that now, showing me linking out the Web 2.0s and social properties. Also, I sometimes have a problem with social media profiles where I don't know what actual URL to link to. For instance, this link points to my client's LinkedIn showcase page, but so does this. You want to do the shorter version, Dustin. So do that one there. A lot of time that stuff on the end can just be tracking stuff. So I mean, if you go to this page and this is the URL that shows up, then that's what you want to use. From Steven, with all the changes away from SEO hosting, PBNs, etc., is there any talk of updating the members area to show or highlight only the current recommendations so as new folks do not get confused by the old content? Yeah, I mean, that's already happened, Steven. I mean, we've taken out old content, putting in new, and any old content should be have a note above it, like this is just for reference of, prior SEO. From Celine, the video about fake names and the safe setup. Oh, thank you, Celine. It's two helpful hints. So that video about the fake name is in the safe setup from Dwayne Berlin in the supremacy section. Alright, so let's actually go take a look. Alright, so supremacy. Supremacy safe setup. Did I miss it, Celine? I'll go back to hers when she answers me. Alright, from Tommy. Where's your video telling how to make what you want to show up on Google search? Telling how to make what you want to show up on Google search? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Tommy. I'm thinking you're talking about like your title and all that stuff. I mean, that's just in the WordPress Yoast settings. So if you use Yoast SEO, then in those settings you can control what shows up. Like when you go into a post, you scroll down and in the WordPress setting or in the Yoast settings below the post, you can set the title and all that stuff there. All right. I usually use silos for like larger sites, Joanne. So I don't do it for like a lot of local sites personally. I mean, I know Network Empire recommends it, which is great, but usually I'll only use it for like bigger sites. Like if it was a local site with like multiple locations, I would silo out the locations. Or if it's like an affiliate site with multiple topics, I'll silo that out. So that's usually when I use silos. Arthur, I'm not sure on that. That's a question for David Mills. But I'm pretty sure you guys get director's cut information with Breakthrough. I could be wrong on that. I'm almost positive that's how it works. From Joanne, suggestion. Talking about a search field on the site. I don't know how that would be done, Joanne. Again, that's something for David Mills. He organizes like the whole members area and does all the content and all that. So he would be the one to set that up. But I can bring that up to him for sure. From Chris. Okay, you did a complete order. He's setting up on hosting, installing everything. I also ordered that, Chris. It's pretty cool when you don't gotta do anything. So they will be ready to go when delivered. These will be business-themed sites. These will be used for local businesses. Yeah. I mean, as soon as you get them, you can basically put up content and start linking out, Chris. Oh, no problem, Dustin. That's why you paid us. We're here to help you with whatever you need. So, again, like the most successful students we had have always came in, went through the content, and just came and asked questions time and time again. I mean, Brian Magnassi, I'm sure many of you have heard about. He used to come and just pound me with questions every single session. Now he's doing, I think he's close to 6 figures a month, and he started from nothing. So, a lot of people like that who just came and asked a lot of questions are the ones who really end up doing well. No, not at all, Priya. Not discouraging that at all. Check out the recent video. Make sure you guys always, always, always look at the news section. Okay, you should always be reading the news section every day. This is the news section right here. Okay, in February 1st news, there is a note here about PBNs under February 1st. And then there's a new video. Let's see if he announced it. And then he announced, we got a new over-the-shoulder series called iowacityseo.net. So many of you might not have even seen that if you're not checking the news section. And then I think he posted the new video on PBN related stuff in the SEO news and updates. It should be this one right here. Alright, and current important updates, stuff like that. So make sure you guys always check the news section, alright? Alright, so Celine is saying that the safe setup is under the Q&A clarification. So it's under, I think it was supremacy section. Okay, here we go. September 27th safe setup demo with OMG or Dwayne Berlin. Thank you again, Celine. Yes, he's showing how to set up with different stuff. So, and that's what I use, fake name generator, which I saw up there. Alright, so that's where that was for changing, for using fake information, fake whois information. Thank you, Celine. Alright, from Susan, it's a longer one here. When deciding whether or not to use Link Juice Keeper versus Simple 301 Redirects plugin, you said to look at top pages in OpenSite Explorer. If I use Command Center, it only shows the top 5 pages of a site. Is that enough pages to make the decision, or do I need to also have OSC to see all the pages? No, I think that's enough, Susan. If you can see the top 5 pages. Because, I mean, if there's more than 5 pages getting links, I would just use Link Juice Keeper, personally. And then if there's only 3, then it's going to show the top 3, and you can just manually 301 them. When deciding whether or not to use Link Juice Keeper versus Simple 301s... Okay, that was the... You said the same question quite a few times. You must not know you're typing it in. Alright, from Joanne... Going back to the domain on page 3, the highest keyword density is 9%. Would that be over-optimized? In most cases it would. It depends on the length of the keyword, Joanne. And also their anchor text and how they're branded and all that. Also look at other things like, how they have the keyword. Like, do you have your keyword in the title? Do they have their keyword in the title? What are they using for their anchor text? What are you using? What type of quality links do they have? How many links do they have? Look at all that type of stuff and compare it. And it also depends, how old, like how long you've been working on that site. I know you said it's an expired domain, but there could still be not that much power to it. Like, I don't know how strong of an expired domain it is, because that has to do with how quick it will move. So, I mean, there's just so many things in it for the reason you could still be on page 3. Those links you've done just have not kicked in yet, but it could also be over-optimization. But I would just double-check on your anchor text and then make sure you have your keyword in your title and stuff like that. Check all the basics. For Mike, I noticed that for silo sites, some tools will backdate posts for 2 years. Does that cause a problem? Would you put the more valuable keyword pages using old dates or current dates? I've never seen that backdate problem but you can always change the date of a post if you really want to. But honestly, I don't worry about that too much. I've played with like changing the date before with testing, and I never noticed any ranking fluctuations from that. So, I mean, I personally don't worry about the date too much. But you can change it if you want in there. You can update the date. From Chris, I have a client. His site is indexed but not ranking for anything at all. I'm thinking of not doing the project since it is so low budget. What would you do? He has a couple hundred links and they are all for his money keyword only. Yeah, that's probably not a project you're going to want, Chris, if he's a low low money client. Hey, hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, sorry. That was Bryson's mom. Just making sure it wasn't important. Um. So yeah, Chris. In that case, I mean, likely what he's going to need is a disavow. So he's going to need a recovery first, and then that could take time, and then you start working on the site. So I mean, low budget. If he's not willing to dish out the money, that's probably not even worth it. Or if you want, you can just start a new site for him if you want to get some experience under your belt. I'm not sure how experienced you are, but yeah, I mean, like, if he's trying to get you to rank that site specifically, it's probably not going to be worth it. From Joanne. Are you talking about on-page keyword density, Joanne? That's very high for on-page keyword density. Alright, from Slav, is sending some links through shorteners like Bitly good for DAS? Is that considered a 301 redirect? Yeah, any shorteners like that are actually 301 redirects, and they have domain authority with them. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely a trick that can be used with DAS. Alright, from Tommy. Unclear on SEO domain like Cotton. One site, same content for all cities. If you use a silo system for cities, how does that content from homepage show up on the city page? This structure issue is holding me up. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, Tom, because you're talking about something with Cotton. So you might want to ask him specifically. But, I mean, basically what you can do for local if you want is you can write up an article, use it on all your city page content. So, you can set up the silo and then just plug in the content, like the same content, just change up the city names. And that's working right now. It has been for a long time. So I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, but if it's something specifically with what Cottons do, I would ask him about it. But if you're asking more general, like yeah, you can create one article and just change up the city name, then use it for all your content, like for each city you're trying to target. Again, you can do that. It does work. How long is it going to work? I don't know. So that's up to you if you want to use it or not. And Cotton uses it. A lot of people use it. From Joanne, where can we find how to set up the discovery page form? I'm guessing that's in Cotton section, Joanne, because that's discovery form is all Cotton stuff. From Mike, I was using Register Compass last night to look for a few expired or expiring domains. I often get very few results, even with very wide options. Use TLDs, etc. Is there a better source than their database, or is it just some days are worse than others? I've had this happen a few times. Seems like less domains available than a year ago. No, Mike, I still get the same amount generally. Like I'll still get the same amount of results, but then some weeks I'll have, I'll barely be able to find any good ones, and then the next week I might be able to find 100 good ones. So I mean, as far as results, like I'm getting about the same results. Like when I set my settings, I'll do domain authority above 24, um, older than 2013, make sure it's indexed. I'll do Namejet pre-release usually, or GoDaddy auctions. And for each of those settings, for about 5 days, I'll get about 500, 600, 700 domains that I'll end up going through. From Susan, when you set up a new domain, can you just add an email forwarder from the domain to your personal email, or is it better to create a new email account and the forwarder? That's what I do, Susan. I just add a domain to the account, so like support@domain.com, then I just forward it to my personal email. That's what I've always done. From Ryan, I have a few clients with domain age at 7 years plus, lots of branded anchors. Does this mean I have leniency with targeting direct keywords as long as you don't over-optimize like crazy? Yes. In most cases, Ryan. One thing you just want to be careful about is even if they're branded anchors, make sure they don't have like a ton of low-quality links. Like a whole bunch of like from article sites and stuff like that. Just be careful of that. But yeah, I mean, generally, if they already have a lot of branded anchor text in place, that's going to give you a little more leniency with targeting money keywords. So, from Tony, how many sites can one PBN support? We go through all that in the PBN training, Tony. But I mean, pretty much as many as you want. Just the more you link out to, the more risk you're kind of putting yourself in. All right. From Howard, what software website do you use for reports for clients? I don't, Howard. I don't use anything for that. I don't deal with clients personally. I let Mike deal with it. The way I work is, people always ask me like, what do you outsource and stuff. There is certain things I outsource, as I talked about earlier, but a lot of things like, I'll do a project and I'll bring on a partner and I'll say, look, I'll get this site ranked and all that. As long as you get the content, you set it up, you set up everything. I'll do all the linking, I'll rank it, and I'll give you half the profits. I'll do stuff like that. And then with Mike, when we get clients, he deals with the client, and I just rank the client site. We don't send them reports or anything like that. If you want to talk about reporting for clients, Fletch can be good to talk to, or Cotton, because I know they have tons of clients. But I'm not even sure if Cotton does reports for clients or not. I'm not positive on that, but Cotton would probably be the best one to follow for that. From Mike, if you were doing a large silo site with, say, 2,000 keyword pages to make, Boston emergency plumber in Boston, MA, etc., how would you spread them out? Example, put 1,000 pages posting in the past and XXX of pages each. I'm not following that one, Mike. I mean, if I were to set up a silo with something like that, it depends what type of the site was. Okay, so if it was like if it had plumber in the domain name, then obviously you can only silo out location. So for me, it would be plumber.com/state/city. And then if you want to cover emergency too, you could do /emergency after the city name, and then you'd cover the emergency keywords on that page. But I mean, that's just personally how I would do it. I mean, again, you can talk to Network Empire about silo, what they recommend the perfect silo is. But for me, that's what I would do. Like if you have plumber.com, it would be plumber.com/state/city. And then probably what I would do is just not even create an emergency supporting page, and just put the emergency stuff on the Boston page. So it'd be plumber.com/, state/Boston, and then in my title I'll just take care of like find a plumber in Boston, and then I'll also have like emergency plumber available like in the content, and that will take care of those keywords. I mean that's how I would do it. But I mean, again, you can talk to Network Empire about what they recommend, like for the exact right setup, so to speak. All right, from Anthony, if my EMD is PanamaCityAccentLawyer.com, would it be okay to use Accent Lawyer Panama City as my SEO title to avoid over optimization? Yeah, I mean, and again, Anthony, you can actually use Panama City Accent Lawyer in your title, and but again, when you first make the site, it's not going to rank right away. I mean, especially with this new algorithm in place, they're just not letting new sites rank right away. So, I mean, what you could do, Anthony, is just go with this version to start, with other words in there if you want. And then as your site gains trust and starts moving up, you can put this exact version in there. And again, I'm going to cover stuff like this in the EMD video that I did that David should be putting out soon. But yeah, I mean, to start the site, go ahead and put that version in, and then later on you can always change it. I mean, changing a title takes 5 seconds. It might take a few days to show up in the search results, but it takes 5 seconds to change, so it's no big deal. So you can actually just be safe and go with this version, build the trust to your site, and then you can switch it later on. From Tony, where are you guys getting decent content from for PBN and Web 2.0s? I use Content Authority or iWriter, stuff like that, Tony. So I just use like article writing services like that. From Pre, looks like a PBN of mine has been de-indexed. However, when I put it in Webmaster Tools, it shows no errors. Could it be waiting for a manual review? It's showing up in Bing. Yeah, Bing has nothing to do with Google Pre. I mean, you can always put in a re-inclusion request if you want. Again, I don't know the history of the PBN. It could be from links. It could be from something with a history. I don't know. But, I mean, if you really want to, if you already have it in Webmaster Tools, you could just put in a re-inclusion request and see what they say. So, I just got this site. Now it's not indexed. I don't know what's going on. But I've never messed with it personally. If a PBN gets de-indexed, I just let it go. From Chris, the keyword phrase carpet cleaning Houston is a bloodbath for competition. For 7-pack and organic ranking. Ironically, the one that's usually ranking well for this keyword phrase have little to no backlinking and very, very few citations. Very confusing. Any input from you here would be appreciated. My guess is they're using some type of 301 and they're masking their links, Chris. That would be my guess. They're just using advanced SEO tactics to hide their links. They could have a bunch of PBNs that aren't showing up because they're blocking the aggregators. They could use 301 redirects. There's a lot of stuff they could be doing that you're just not seeing. All right, no problem, Mike. Tools to use when ranking videos. I mean, my personal favorite for ranking YouTube videos has always been PBNs. They work very well together. But I'm also playing with tools now, Steve. I'm playing with like RankWiz. I'm playing with different services. I'm playing with like Social Adder, stuff like that. From Mike, for 2,000 pages above, how many pages per day? 50 pages per day or for 40 days? I mean, you could check again with Network Empire, but personally, I wouldn't be too worried about doing them all at once. I mean, that's just me. I think I've heard them say that you wouldn't want to do over 10,000 pages in a day. I could be wrong there. But again, you might want to bring that up to them because they have a lot of experience with doing mass pages in silos where I don't. I don't worry as much about the siloed setup unless it's a bigger site like you're doing. But I've also never done a site that big, so I'm not sure on that, Mike. Like I don't want to give you a wrong answer. But I mean, me personally, I wouldn't be worried about doing all of them in one day. But you can check on that with them. All right, from Tony, do you know of anyone offering DAS service? Yeah, Stephen Schaff in the Facebook group, Tony. Just do a search for Stephen Schaff. Last name spelled Schaff. From Chris, is there any information about advanced SEO and 301 redirects so I can go after those very competitive keyword phrases? Yeah, Jimmy covers a lot of this, so if you want to know about that, get in the Network Empire section, or get into the Network Empire office hours and just ask about what you want to know about. All right, and he'll tell you what he's willing to tell you, I guess. So, but I mean, really, Chris, I wouldn't worry about the advanced stuff until you get the basics down. I mean, personally, I mean that's just something that's just going to come with time. I mean, that's my advice, at least. From Pri. I never know how to pronounce your name. I don't write it in the box how you pronounce it, Pris or Pri, because I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Like, is it Pree you pronounce or Pris, Pris? Just let me know. All right, what do you think about copying content from my D-index PBN and putting it on a new domain PBN? That should be fine, as long as the old site is not there anymore. All right, so as long as there's nothing to match up the content with, you should be fine with that. Alright, from Celine, if I want to rank an SEO services site for several cities in my country, do I have to be Google Business verified for each city? Can I be verified for one city and have different pages on the site for each location? Yeah, you can, Celine, but you're most likely only going to show up well for the city that you're registered in or verified in. Um, I mean, like if you're in Nashville, you might show up in like very close cities like Brentwood, Franklin, maybe depending on how well you did your citations and all that stuff, and make sure you have those keywords on your site. But typically, you would depending on what you want to try to do, you'd probably want to get verified for each location. And the proper way to do that, from what I believe, is you get a Google email account if you already have one, and then you just put up a my business put up a business page for each location, and then get each location verified separately. Okay, and then have that data on that specific location page. So, if you have like 3 virtual offices, one's in Nashville, one's in Brentwood, one's in Franklin, you would set up 3 different business pages under the same Google dashboard, like the same email, and then for the Nashville page, you would have the Nashville location NAP on that particular page. Okay, the name, address, and phone number. And then the Brentwood one, you would have the Brentwood name, address, and phone number on that one. Okay. But again, like if they're very close locations, you can still rank for locations that are very close. So it depends on how close they are and how competitive it is and all that on what you want to do. Okay, so it is announced Pris. Okay, thank you. From Hector, because of the changes happening in PBNs, I'm now trying to buy PBNs that are all under the same industry. for example, health, but I was wondering if I could still have some general PBNs used for ranking YouTube videos from different industries, for example, health, business, cleaning. Yeah, I mean, Hector, that's even working for regular sites. You can have a PBN and theme it around many different topics, and it still works totally fine. We're just saying for the direction they're going, we're just a little worried that that won't work in the future, so we're just trying to prevent problems before they happen. But I mean, right now, it's working totally fine. And my guess is if it changed, it would change for websites before it did for YouTube videos and stuff like that because of the domain authority. So, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do there. I don't worry as much about my Web 2.0 properties like and YouTube videos and stuff like that, just because with the domain authority, I've seen them get away with so much and still rank that I'm not as worried about those. So if you are going to do that, yeah, I'd probably do it on those types of properties because you're much less likely to have problems on those. All right, guys, we've got a couple more minutes, but no questions. So let me know if you got any final questions, and then we'll put this one in the bag. No one? No one's got any final? Alright, a couple more rolling in. Alright, so I'll get this last screenshot. Looks like you guys are pretty much good for today. Alright, so for Ryan, 30 days to wait for PBN links, a real patience tester. Yeah, I mean, it could even be longer, Ryan. I've seen sites where literally 3 months have gone by before I've seen, any type of decent movement. So, I mean, usual time frame is about 30 days, but I have seen much longer, which makes me wonder if there's some type of randomization thing going on. They're putting in some type of randomization, like on new sites. If it gets a new link, depending on the power, you might see moving between 14 and 90 days. You know what I mean? With a great chance of 30 days being the average. But who knows? We just know that there's a delay. Less likely for there to be a delay if it's an established site, or especially an established page on an established site. And then, of course, less likely to be a delay if it's a stronger link. And then those two combined, it's usually we'll see movement pretty quick. How effective using YouTube videos with high PR for DAS? I mean, just like anything else, Mike. I mean, those are no-follow links, but it's still going to pass you some power there. So, I mean, you can definitely always put those in. I mean, I use YouTube links all the time, so. Alright, so people are sneaking in some last questions. Let me get these last ones, and then we'll get rolling here. You guys are very welcome, by the way. Thanks for coming out. From Anthony, I changed the SEO title H1 tag of my low keyword density on page for one on my site a few days ago and just noticed 23 spot jump in rank. Yeah, Anthony, I mean, those are such easy things to play around with, and most people just don't do it. I don't know why. I'm always changing titles and stuff just to see what happens. I mean, it's so easy to do. I mean, you go in, change the title on H1 tag and a little bit of keyword density. It takes, what, 2 minutes? Give it a few days and just see how it reacts. If it goes backwards, just change it back. I mean, I've had sites literally where I've changed my title and it's moved up 4 or 5 pages, like jumped up to the first page. So I mean, just making little changes like that can be huge to me. A title is just so easy to change. So yeah, I mean, good point there, Anthony. From Paul, for keyword research, do you use SEMrush or something else like Network Empire, DWS? I mean, I usually, honestly, Paul, just use my brain. I just kind of go into what would I search if I was looking for whatever the niche is. You know, like for example, the e-cigarette stuff that I did for a while. I mean, I just thought, I would be looking for what's the best electronic cigarette, maybe electronic cigarette brands to compare them, compare electronic cigarettes. And then once you start typing those in, you get the suggestion boxes down below, and you can kind of go off that. And of course, long tail versions and all that. And then once you get those, like the bigger keywords, you can just throw them into the Google Keyword Planner. I mean, that's how I do most of my keyword research, to be honest. From Peter, when you go to the Keyword Planner and it shows no results, but you know there is searching being done, how do you figure search volume? I mean, you can't really, Peter. You just, again, for those types of things, like if it's a 70,000 person city and it's showing no searches for city plumber, that's not right. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you can kind of gauge it by how many people are in that city if it's a local term. But other than that, I mean, there's no real way to know, like, the exact number. Alright, and just last one from Pris here. Can't remember if the title is in the header of the website. I mean, the title is just what shows up here, Pris. So, like, this title right here is OMG Machines. Alright. This one right here is Social Adder, Social Media Marketing Services. That's the title. Alright. Other than URL and anchor text, the title carries the most weight, in my opinion, as far as like on page goes. Alright, everyone, so I'm going to wrap this one up. My next session again will probably be next Monday. I might do Monday night next time just to switch it up, but I will definitely have one next week. Thank you all for coming out. Just remember to keep going through the content. Keep coming back and asking questions, please, because I mean that's how you guys are going to succeed. Again, that's where most of our success stories come from, is people who actually came and asked questions. So just keep it up. Keep going through the content. Keep asking questions, and you'll get there. All right, everyone, I will see you next week. Thanks for coming out again.